Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at a 1 of 300 Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Tourbillon. You can see this Platinum limited edition Tourbillon Dual Time on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch with additional accessories included, high-resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details. When this watch bowed in late 2005 and finally reached the market in 2006, it represented a revolution for Jaeger-LeCoultre. Not only had the company stepped into the realm of automatic tourbillon movements, but it had built a watch that was unabashedly aimed at chronometric performance, reclaiming the original purpose of the tourbillon. The watch actually won the very first of the modern chronometry competitions, resurrected, the first since the 70s in Switzerland. This watch beat a battery of independent and high horology houses. Not only did it triumph over all of those with an annualized deviation of less than 1 minute per year, yes, with a mechanical watch, but it also beat its stablemate in Jaeger-LeCoultre, the awesome Gyro Tourbillon 2 in terms of chronometric performance. This watch is a giant killer. But it's not a giant on the wrist. 41.5 millimeters across the round of the case. It is quite wearable, and 12.5 millimeters thick. It's also quite wearable with a tight dress cuff or sleeve. With that conical bezel, the watch does easily slide underneath a formal cuff or a tight sleeve of any kind. From lug to lug, it has good span, it has modern wrist presence, 50 millimeters, but not overwhelming. Now, what it does have is a very impressive platinum pull. You know you're wearing platinum. Its density delta versus gold is immense, and you can never confuse the two. When you wear this watch on the wrist, even without a glance, you know you are experiencing something special. Now, I can speak with some degree of knowledge on this topic because I actually own a watch in the exact same code 146 case in platinum, my Master Grand Memovox. Again, I have enjoyed every moment I've ever spent with this beast on my wrist. The heft of it, it's an experience unlike anything else. If you've ever worn a gold watch for the first time and just thought, that's incredible, well, get ready for another order of magnitude, because that's exactly what you experience with this Master Tourbillon in platinum. And in fact, it's actually 3 millimeters thinner than my own Grand Memovox, so it's even more wearable. Now, everything that touches the skin is superb here, from the platinum case to the very substantial dark anthracite alligator leather strap. Now you can see there's a little bit of an arc to the spring bar, so it chases the general curvature of the case without being pinned against the flank of the case. You can see how you can pull the strap down around the tighter curve of a smaller wrist. You can wear this watch with security and I think a great sense of proportion on a wrist down to as small as about 14.5 centimeters. And again, because it's not as large as the Master Grand Tradition and Master Grand Tourbillon watches that succeeded it, those tend to be 43 millimeters plus. This is a watch for those who love the complication, love the look in the manufacturer, but don't want the oversized watch burden and experience. Now, the strap is very substantial. This is one of the best that JLC produces. It has a lot of body and swell as it abuts the lug, so there's an even visual transition from the swell of the bolstered strap to the swell of that lug. And on the underside, this series of watches featured two different clasps, one in platinum that was a large single fold, and a more modern version with a double fold deployed in 18-karat white gold. And the white gold clasp is what you see here. This is actually a little friendlier to a smaller wrist because it doesn't have the one big up and over fold that can sometimes get a purchase on your wrist and pinch it down. This is a little bit more ergonomically agreeable for those of us with smaller wrists. And the pin buckle is wonderfully low profile, so that it does look like a traditional pin buckle when the clasp is closed. Now, the watch itself is an absolute superstar. The combination of the platinum case, the minimalist conical platinum bezel, and the sunburst rhodium dial simply explodes in any light. This watch is always transforming as the light shifts across it, whether it's the soft light of my light box here as I take the video, or the brilliant sunshine of our Miami midday, as I've seen the watch just today. It is spectacular, and it's something to experience because there's a dynamism to this dial with its deep radial grain that very few timepieces ever capture, and few sunburst dials. There are sunburst dials, and then there are sunburst dials, and this one truly emphasizes the latter part of that nomenclature. It bursts, it explodes, it jumps off the dial base. And the watch features gorgeous polished white gold delta style indices along with double Arabics at 9 and 3 with a double index at 12 o'clock just above the second time zone. The watch is a dual time, and you can actually move the hour hand, as you can see, independently as you travel. So you have two time zones, reference with a 24-hour scale and central. Now central drives the jump date, which as you can see has a single night jump from 15 to 16, such that the actual radial date indicator is never blocking your view of the tourbillon aperture. The tourbillon bridge itself is designed after the Jaeger-LeCoultre caliber 170 observatory chronometer from the late 1940s. Now only 26 of those were made, but they were spectacular performers, and aesthetically it's immortalized in the design, the bow tie bridge of this tourbillon cage. The tourbillon itself is spectacular, combining the best of both worlds. Light mass, so it's only a 0.25 gram titanium tourbillon cage, but it has an immense 11.5 milligram per centimeter squared inertia to the free sprung balance. Yes, it is a free sprung balance on a tourbillon. So you have an immense balance and a light cage with a modern 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate. Again, this watch was designed specifically for chronometric performance, and it's one of the few mechanical watches that I've ever heard of, the caliber 978 in this watch, that had been regulated to perform at better than 1 minute of deviation per year. Now, the finish is everything you would expect of this grade of complication. What you might not expect is that the watch is also sports watch tough. Most of the underlying architecture of this movement, the 33 jewel 302 part 978, actually comes from the early 2000s JLC Auto Tractor sports watch caliber. So it has unlubricated ceramic rotor bearings, efficient unidirectional winding, a superior 48-hour power reserve. It does feature spire-cut gear profiles, and it does have all of the modern features that you would get on the sports watch, right up to the point where there's a departure in the form and function of the escapement, the tourbillon cage. But even the tourbillon cage incorporates some of the refinements of the Auto Tractor, namely a laser-welded hairspring at the stud and the collet. But unlike the Auto Tractor, that hairspring is a Breguet overcoil for even better chronometric performance in different positions, different orientations on the wrist and on your dresser at night. Free sprung with a laser-welded Breguet overcoil hairspring, it also features a remarkable sort of side saddle or crab-style anchor. So the actual inline Swiss escapement that you've seen on many conventional watches actually does not obtain here. It actually has an off-centered, minimal polar moment of inertia special anchor that's actually built up of nickel phosphorus in a sort of chemical construction process, a lot like Liga. It's the kind of thing that's only used to manufacture the most minuscule components of the lightest mass that require the utmost intolerances. You can see this spectacular, mechanically unconventional, but chronometrically unarguable Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Tourbillon and buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.